Go. Hello, everybody. My name's Chachi. Welcome back to In Our Humble Opinion. Tom, say hi.
What up?
So we're going to go over Week Seven's games and what we saw and everything. You can see my face again. I'm back. I got a new little setup. I fixed up my table and everything. My wife helped me. She's a legend. Um, so let's start with the game. When we recorded the last one, this already happened, but we really didn't get to look at the game very well. And we got Jaguars at the Saints. As you can clearly see, the final score was Jaguars 31, Saints 24. Tom, what did you think?
Jaguars have won 3 games in 11 days. They're hot. The Saints, again, they play well, but dude, something's just wrong up with the receivers, Derek Carr. Too. You saw the off-field issues with what's his face with
Hold
Olave.
on, yeah.
Man, something ain't right. I don't know. There's just something right now in this league. I just don't know. I feel like back early 2000s, man, I just felt like you didn't hear as much about all the trouble and stuff. I don't know if it's just a different age or what, but there just seems like in general, I just don't know how many players take it as seriously as it used to be. It's all about kind of fun and a me type deal. So I don't know, man. Just doesn't, it seems like there's like a leadership aspect missing on that Saints team because they should be way better, man. I was like, hey, you got an upgrade at quarterback and defensively they're always pretty solid. It just doesn't seem to be happening.
Yeah, I think the Jaguars look really good. They're like you said, they're rolling. I think they're about where everyone thought they would be right now. They're doing what they always do. Everyone thought they would take that jump this year because of how they finished last year. Trevor Lawrence looks like the real deal. He really looks like he's becoming the player everyone thinks he can be. And the Saints, Derek Carr is good, but he had these slow starts. I don't know what they're doing. Like you said, they get off to such a slow start and then have to dig themselves out of a hole, which is wild. And with that defense they have, when it's healthy, they're kind of nicked up lately. When they're 100% healthy, they have a really good defense. They should be a lot better than they are. It's frustrating. If I was a fan of theirs, I'd be very frustrated. That team should be better than they are. Some people pick them to make the Super Bowl because of that defense. Because honestly, they have layers of great players and veteran leadership. It's wild. I can't believe they're as bad as they are. And honestly, though, that one throw, Derek Carr was mad. I'm like, dude, no, Shaq couldn't have caught that. Wembenyama couldn't have caught that. Okay, listen.
Oh god.
And has anyone seen that man's wingspan? He can't catch it. No one can. But yeah, so it was definitely a disappointing game. The final score actually looks a lot closer than it was from the standpoint of they were getting drummed for the first half, and then they made a nice comeback, but then the very end, that guy should have caught the ball too. It was rough, but let's not blame him. They should have been in that game. Morneau, they should have been in that game. Shouldn't have been his fault. Foster Morneau's fault. Sorry, you gotta do better, guys. Ready for the next game, Tom?
Yes, sir.
This one, dear to my heart. Uh, Lions at Ravens. Ravens tore them apart. I actually went to see how the game was going, and it was already 35-0. So I rewatched it and everything. I was working at the time. But they played great. Offense looked really good, on rhythm, rolling. Do have to say though, Lions. I watched over. They played a lot of man, and it was not a good idea against the Ravens. Like we and you were talking about, their personnel's not good for that. You don't have the corners for that. They picked them apart. Lamar was really excellent. He moved around, made plays. I love the plays they were calling. They never do that enough with him. You gotta disguise him running and then throwing it. That was so smart. The RPOs very very smart. And I think what everyone's missing, right? They were getting on the Ravens. Me and you talked about it. The one thing they have all year, and it's been there all year, is that defense. It's going to keep you in every game when you have a good defense. Like you said, defense wins championships. You have a good defense, you're going to be in every game because you can't be. It's hard to blow a team out that has a good defense because they're going to keep the game close and give you a shot to win. They just got to keep it up. The media is wild. They're just all over the place. The Ravens are just like you said. There's no great team, and they're a tough team, and that'll keep you. That puts you near the top just because you're going to be in every game. Just their execution. Sometimes you can't drop the ball. It's like anything. You're a little sloppy. You're going to lose. So we'll see how the season goes. I will say this about the Cardinal game coming up. If Kyler Murray plays, I think it'll be a little tougher than people think just because that's a whole different kind of quarterback. You'll prepare for Dobbs. I don't know if he's playing. but there's a lot more mobility there. I think they'll win just because their talent's better, but it's gonna be a tough game, tougher game than I think people think, because that team plays hard. By the way, the final score of the game was Ravens 38, Lions 6. Sorry, I didn't say that. Tom, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Ravens curb stomped the Lions. It was pretty, like, for me as a Packer fan, number one, again, who of the Lions truly beat other than Kansas City when Kansas City was down people and it's week one? You know, I'm not saying the Lions aren't good. I do think they're a contender in the NFC, but they're still missing key guys that can just take over games. And I don't think they have a good roster 1 through 53.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they don't have, like, I mean, Aiden Hutchinson, he doesn't, you know, he beats up bad teams, right? He's not, I don't think he's Nick Bosa yet.
No, I agree.
So, and you saw too, like, dude, the Ravens, like, that was the thing. The Ravens' offensive line has been awful.
Yeah.
Right? You watch, like, the Pittsburgh game, you just kind of go, and then where, you know, and so everybody, again, like, the Lions' defense, you know, they've somewhat, they've played really well. They've gotten pressure again. I'll say they've gotten, like, you know, they made the Packers' offensive line look like the varsity high school team. But you still, it's very interesting to see them not be able to get any pressure on Lamar. Like, I mean,
yeah.
It was a really well called game by Todd Monken. I mean, it was smart. They kind of hit all this stuff and then they opened it up, and you know, you saw, like, this is the potential. This is what you wanted to see as a Ravens fan, right?
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, like, I think the Lions kind of are who I think they are. I don't think they're the NFC elite. To be honest with you, I don't think any team in the NFC is elite.
No.
I'll be really honest with you. I think they're all kind of meh. Even like Philly, they win against, you know, Miami. They still struggle with things that I just don't think they should be struggling with. And if you shut down their run game like the Jets did, they're very, very mediocre team. So, it's still wide open in the NFC. It's a long season. So, but
yeah, I agree. I think
for the Ravens, great statement win. Don't let this Arizona game be that trap game
now.
No. That is a team.
Plays hard.
The team is actually
plays hard, man.
Physical and solid, and you could be down 14-0 real quick.
Yeah, don't be like Dallas, bro. Just put the foot on the gas, man. You gotta keep going. Just go.
This is a typical Harbaugh.
Yeah.
They're coming with a bat, like they're gonna come out and play flat and look awful. 3 people are gonna get hurt that actually are significant for down the road.
Yeah.
Like, Harbaugh, you know what this is. Prepare like you're playing Kansas City.
This reminds me of a game where he'll do the thing that I don't like, and I hope he doesn't do this. John, take the field goals, okay? You're against a team that you can beat. You're more talented than. Take the field goals, get the lead, put them behind, make them have to make plays. This isn't hard. I'm not a coach, believe me. I'm not you. I understand that. You're the man. Gotcha. All love. But sometimes he plays those games like you can't be giving up points sometimes, and he does that a lot.
Especially on the road, man.
Yes.
Take the points. The hardest thing in the NFL is playing on the road. You got to take the crowd out of it.
Yep.
3 points is better than nothing.
Yes. Yeah.
You know?
Not only that, you have a kicker where a 40-yard field goal is just money. It's not.
Use this analytics and probability, and I'm like, I get it, but at some point, man, there's a simple rule: just take the points.
And I do think Detroit's going to be fine. Detroit, you're going to be fine. You're gonna be fine. Dan Campbell. The one thing I did respect, and I have to bring this up before I end the game, before we end talking about this game, the thing I hate that I see a lot by these coaches is you'll have like 90% of the time guy ends up getting fired in 2 years because it's just a mindset you give your team. The thing I respect about Dan Campbell in that game, he did not like sit there and start kicking field goals. He was like, listen, we're down 35-0. We're going for it. We need touchdowns. Field goals ain't winning us nothing. You got them coaches, just so they don't get shut out, will be kicking like field goals. I'm like, dude, you lost 48-3. Who cares? Like, what's a field goal gonna do?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I give Dan Campbell a ton of credit, man. He even came out and said we got curb stomped. We got our asses handed to us, and he even said like maybe we needed one, maybe we were a little too high, and it's true, right? Like sometimes you need that humbling loss of like, hey, maybe you're not as good right now as you think you are.
Well, as a player,
Yeah.
I like when a
I mean,
coach tells me what I need to hear. Don't sit there and be like, "Hey man, we got a field goal." You know, you're on the sideline. You're like, "Dude, it's 35-3. Why are we kicking field goal? They ain't winning us a game. What are we doing?"
remember this. They gave up 20 points in the second half to the atrocious Green Bay Packers offense. Okay? Green Bay hasn't scored 20 against any other team since then.
True, true.
Like, you have to question, you know, you have to somewhat, that defense I think is better. It's just not there yet. Like I said, they don't have the guy that just takes it over and is just insane. It'd be a great opportunity to trade for one, man. Like if they had like a Rashawn Gary next to like Hutchinson,
Yeah.
like they could just legitimately just those two could take over a game.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's move on because like we could go on for days and days on these two rosters.
Next game is Falcons at the Buccaneers. Falcons ended up winning 16-13. My Goku kicked that field goal, man. Heck of a kicker, man. He's a good kicker. Y'all got a good kicker too, man. The Falcons. Oh.
Dude, does Desmond Ritter not like he has to have the like record for the most red zone turnovers in a career? Like even in just that game, like man, if I'm the Falcons at some point, dude, like Ritter kills me because he does a lot of really good things and then he just does that all the time. And that's like I don't know how you coach that out of a guy.
Yeah, that's wild, dude. That is crazy.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, the Falcons can run away with this division. I truly think they have the better roster.
Dude, it reminds me of Sam Darnold. He reminds me. Remember how Sam Darnold was when he was young? Same thing, just like these weird picks at like the worst time. Like, bro, no.
The picks, though, like you can't take a snap on the goal line. Like, dude,
yeah.
You know, like these are like this is where you make your money as a quarterback, man. Like
it's true.
You know,
it's true.
And again, you have an elite enough defense.
No.
Oh my God, dude, don't. Stop. Sorry.
Tom's driving. Driving.
Yeah, sorry guys. People are very interesting drivers on the interstate. Anyways, yeah. So, you know, the Bucs, I think they're coming back to reality again. A really good defense. Just offensively, I think you're seeing kind of what they are. They really can't run the ball, and I think that's really starting to hurt them.
Very much so.
You know, you got to have some balance. It seems like they're just like, hey, Baker, let's go throw it 75 times. And I mean, Baker can do it, just not going to be pretty. So
I agree with you. I think Baker's actually done a really good job for them. I think their defense has been really good this year. Like they got some people healthy. The Buccaneers are pretty good. Mike Evans, you know, he's just been great his whole career basically. Really steady player. He's just good. He's a good player. I mean, probably Hall of Famer. Wonderful player. Gonna get 1,000 yards like he always does. Big physical dude. Great player. Like you said, no running game though. That is, me and you talked about this. I don't mean to get into it again, but you know I love my running backs. You know I love my running game. Listen, I don't know why you're all trying to like pivot off of this so much. If you ever notice though, even the best quarterbacks and teams have their best games when they have their running game to complement it. You cannot throw, like you said, you cannot throw. We'll get into the Bills later. That's their issue. You cannot throw like every play. Teams will adjust to that. Teams will put everybody in coverage. Your little run fakes, they're just going to look at you like, you ain't running. We know you ain't running. You ain't got that dog.
Yeah.
You ain't doing it. You don't scare us.
And so many teams in the NFL want to use the pass to stretch the defense to establish the run. But then you see a team like the Lions, they can just establish the run on you.
Yeah.
Right? And that's actually what will hurt you. Because eventually teams can say, hey, we can play deep and force you to. It comes down to probabilities.
Right? Now, I think the way that game went with
the quickest way to lose in the NFL is by the big play.
Yep.
Right? If I can make you dink and dunk it, what is the probability that you are going to screw up more than once?
Yep.
Right? And get to fourth down. That's what
Yep.
a lot of defenses in the NFL do anymore. It's, hey, we'll let you have 5-10 yards. That's fine. We will not let you score, and we're not going to die by the big play.
No. Because you know, not only that, when the ball's in the air, it can get tipped. Anything can happen. Picked off. Change of possession. If you hand the ball off, if you have a game, because we've all seen games like this. I remember the Ravens against the Jaguars in London a couple of years ago. When that team, then the other team could just physically beat you up the whole. You can't do anything when they're running the ball down your throat when you're trying to stop it. You can't. You're just sitting there like, my God, what do we do? And everyone looks so defeated, and then you start getting mad because you're like, we can't do anything right now. It's crazy. And the Lions against the Ravens. Remember, David Montgomery was hurt. He's having a heck of a season. If he played, I do think the Ravens would have won, but that would have been a different game because then you could have established the run a little better. Even though the Ravens defense has been very good against the run. Just saying. Just saying. David Montgomery's had a heck of a year, and he's been there like he's showing you when you get out of Chicago, you get a lot better. You know what I mean? It's like, that poor guy.
Right.
Anyway,
That's
and the Falcons, I let Tom talk about them because he's seen them more than me. I have watched their games over, but yeah, Desmond Ritter, just dude, stop turning the ball over in Resident. You have a really good team, a really good young team. Okay, and that's what's crazy. They are a sleeping giant, man. They're only going to get better. They have one issue. If you can get Shadur, get him. I don't know if you can. Figure it out. You're
Yeah.
winning too many games now.
Also, Arthur Smith, stop being cranky with the media, bro.
I know,
Like,
man.
you know what?
Stop trying to be
You're lucky to
Belichick.
be the you're lucky to be an NFL coach, man. You know, you make some questionable decisions.
Yeah, yeah. Can I?
Like,
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
not Belichick, bud. You don't
shove
have
things
7
into questions,
titles.
man.
Yeah,
Like, stop being an ass. Stop being an ass.
yeah, dude.
Please, you put your pants on just like I do.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're the future heir apparent of FedEx, but whatever. You know.
That's funny.
Anyways,
Yeah, dude, you're not Bill Belichick. You know why he can do that? He has 7 titles. You don't. No one.
yeah, but you know what? Bill Belichick's an asshole too.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that, but
I'll be blunt with you, man. Like that's still like you don't need to do that. You can
No,
still
no,
answer
no.
questions.
no. But what I'm
Yeah.
saying, is at least you can be like, hey, at least he's won, dude. You ain't got nothing, so stop.
Yeah.
Either way, no, I agree with you. I don't like that either, but at least I can be like, hey, at least he's a winner. What do you got, bud? Okay, next game we got Commanders at the Giants. The Commanders won. I bet the Commanders lost 14-17 to the Giants. 14-7 to the
You know,
Giants. Good.
All I'm gonna say is, man, Tyrod makes that offense actually look like an NFL offense.
I
He
agree,
should be starting the rest of the way.
bro.
You know,
Bro.
Daniel Jones is trash.
Bro, because you know what he does? He lets that defense have a lead and have like get some rest, and then they come on the field flying, and that is a very good defense. Wink, way to go, buddy. You're doing a great job. Thibodeau, I think that's his name, right? Thibodeaux. I can't want to say his name right. He is a really good. Kayvon's really good. Tremendous. I know, like you said, people talking about, yeah, is he a little brash? Yeah, but the dude can play. He can, whatever you want to call it. He
No,
is.
dude, Tyrod has always been just solid, man. And like with
Tyrod
Buffalo,
is.
people forget he led that team to the playoffs because again, he can run an NFL offense. Like sometimes that's all you need. You know, yes, he's a bridge quarterback. He's not the answer, but like for real, if you want to even just like again evaluate what you have, because clearly, look, Daniel Jones wants to run.
Yeah.
His offense just does not work.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Like, just
No, I
the
agree.
Giants, like the Mara family, trying to justify, like, hey, this guy is, it's just enough, man. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to call a spade, man.
Yeah, it was a bad contract. Bad contract.
Yeah. I will always be a Tyrod Taylor supporter. I've always appreciated what he does. It's not always clean. It's not always perfect, but you know what? That guy can.
Not only that,
keep
respect
your
the grind.
team afloat.
Respect the grind that man put in. He was a 6th-round pick, played on as a backup for like 3-4 years, and had like 5-6 really good years as a starter in Buffalo, and a little bit in Cleveland. He has had a heck of a career. He is a guy. If you want to look like just like the guy we'll talk about him later, the young kid in Chicago, you gotta, like he said, you want it, you grind for it, man. That dude got it, and he's good. When he retires, you know what you're gonna do with Tyrod. You're gonna be like, man, he was really good. He was that guy, and like you said, never complains. He's just like, oh, you need me to play?
Remember,
Got you.
Remember, man, he got Buffalo to the playoffs, and
Yes.
they've been out of a drought for like 20 years, man. Like,
Yeah.
that man only gets love. Like
No, yeah. Have you heard anybody
yeah,
ever
like,
say, any teammate
Yeah.
ever say anything bad about him? No, because
Nope.
the guy he literally, the Giants were like, hey, can you play tonight? Yeah, I got you. And don't worry about it. I know the playbook.
Yeah, at this point, I question Dayball and the ownership of like if they
Yeah.
put Daniel Jones back out there.
Yeah.
Because it makes, unless you're truly trying to evaluate to say, hey, we're gonna cut ties with this guy. I think at this point, it just call a spade a spade.
Legitimately, they could have won the first two games he played this year. Tyrod as their quarterback, because like you said, they run the ball, complimentary football, winning games. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. And the Commanders, that I do still like Hal just because he does have the guy's a gritty player. I mean, he brought him down the field. The guy should have caught the ball. I know it was a little behind him. Even the guy said he had to catch it. You got to catch that, bro. Got your hands on
No,
it.
I mean, Allen or whatever said it right. Like, dude, for 7 years,
Yeah,
that team is just
yeah.
a perennial loser.
Yeah.
They don't, like, when are they gonna?
Well, you said
at
it.
some point, man. At some point, man, like it's a culture, man. You
Yep.
gotta like believe in, hey, you can make a play. And there's just guys that don't make plays, man. They have a lot of talent, and man, it's all the time, brother. I don't know what.
What is
like,
this?
Heineke was like their only like bright spot that I can recall in the past like 10, 15 years.
What's this deal with Chase?
Can win for you.
What's this deal with Chase Young too? Why are you trading him? Whatever. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, they're still remember their regime transitioning from Daniel Snyder. I think it's going to be painful for them for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see.
Well, you made a good.
cut it.
You made a point
It is
with.
what it is.
You made a point with the Lions. It's the same thing. You got to learn how to win. It's a like you said, a cultural thing. You got to feel like you're going to win those games, and you know what happens. You start making the plays to win the game. And until then,
Yeah, no, dude, it takes focus, it takes details, right? And they have a lot of veterans where that should not be the problem. So, and you also have a coach that went to a Super Bowl. So, and Eric Bieniemy is also a really good offensive coordinator. So,
yeah, that's wild,
khakis.
right? And look, for everyone that says anyone that gives him crap that he isn't, look at Kansas City this year. They're not the same offense, and they kind of have the same kind of players. They got like okay receivers, and last year they were pretty good. They were a lot better with Bieniemy there. Just saying.
Well, I will say one thing too. I don't know. Like again, though, you kind of see though. Hey, Patrick Mahomes though too.
Yeah.
I know he's working with a different offense, but let's be real. Well, the Commanders' offense hasn't really been lighting the world up either. So
No, I agree. Yeah, but
I think those two paired together were amazing.
that was a good tandem, and no hate on either one of them. They're both good at their job, obviously. You got to be fair, but it is what it is. I mean, like you said, probably should have stayed together. Would have been good for both of them, but it's all good. They'll be fine. Next game, we got the Raiders at the Bears. I can't wait to talk about my boy Tyson. It's 30-12. The Bears won the game. Tom, go ahead. I'll let you go first.
Well, number one, like the Bears, like it's amazing, right? You
But
get a guy, someone their team believes in. They actually executed. They ran the ball, man.
Yeah.
Like, you saw like, hey, this is what this offense can look like, and again, kind of a Tyrod Taylor approach. Like, dude, just keep the chains moving, man. Paper cut them.
And Dante Foreman.
It was amazing to watch. As a Packer fan, it is so frustrating to know that we lost to that Raiders team. That Raiders team, like,
Bad, yeah.
dude, they need to fire Josh McDaniels now.
Yeah.
Like, he coaches scared.
He does.
And he's just like, that team makes no sense. That was a game you hand the ball to Jacobs 80 times.
Yeah.
And you get that man rolling. And you know what? You play one-on-one with Devontae Adams the rest of that game, right?
Yep.
Get him his touches, throw a few to Jacoby Myers, and you know what?
You win.
You probably walk out of there with a win.
Yep.
Just super. I know they're playing with backup quarterback, but yeah, it's just. But yeah, you see, kind of, hey, like that's sort of the way. It's really interesting with Justin Fields. That's all I gotta say. I definitely have a lot of questions about. Why can't just Justin Fields do that sometimes? Just play within yourself, play within the offense instead of. I wonder if they're trying to make him Superman instead of just developing him as a player like he needs to. Because if you watch Jalen Hurts' development, he used to just play within the offense and then could do things with his legs.
Yeah.
And now he devolved into more of the explosive guy that he is.
Yep.
But anyways, that's really all I have to say about that is just, Raiders, man.
I feel bad for Devontae, man. I hope he gets out of there. This is a mess. Unless he just maybe to a California team so he can stay close to his grandma or whatever. It's great.
I hope he stays because I just hope that Mark Davis does the right thing and says, no, we're done with Josh McDaniels. This guy's a clown.
That would be good too. I mean, you're right. It's a mess, dude. These guys, stop hiring Belichick's like cronies, man. They're not good. Like, Patricia. I'm talking about the ones that are like, we go everywhere he goes. They're just trying to be him, and it's a joke. Come on, bro. We don't listen, Josh, bro. He's not a coach. I think we're there, right? I think we're there. He's
No,
not.
it's really easy when you have a Hall of Fame player that can
Yeah,
execute
yeah,
what you're saying and can actually again, when you have a player that can amplify the message you're saying, it's amazing, right?
yeah.
And the success, it works, but you don't have any of them on there,
No,
right? And then also
no
the fact
dogs.
is, how do you believe in a coach when you're not giving the best player, arguably one of the better receivers in football, the ball? But anyways,
And the Bears, Tyson's the man, young guy. But I like you said, complimentary football, great. If they keep it up, they're gonna be a tough team to beat. Let's see what they can do. I want to see how they progress over the year. It was a very good win for them. They look very good. Next game, Bills at Patriots. Patriots won 29-25. It was a very shocking outcome. Not I thought they had a shot just because Belichick plays really well against the Bills. I don't know why. He knows them. You know his record. Everyone does. They rarely lose to him. Couple Fitz magics happened, but besides that, they're like, it's something ridiculous. I'd have to look it up, but it's pretty bad. They beat them all the time. And the Lawyer Malloy comeback special where they blew them out. That one too.
Right.
I remember that one. That was wild, and it was crazy.
The injuries have started to mount up on the Bills defense, but
Yeah.
the thing that kills me though is offensively, man. Like Ken Dorsey, dude. Like you
Run
can
the
call
ball.
a passing game until it's actually really good. But man,
Run
the
the ball. Yes.
Establish the run. Like you're killing Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And it's a joke, man. Like I mean, the Bills' window closed. Like I think they're. Watch that team not make the playoffs. I truly believe that. Watch the Jets ascend and watch the Bills start to slowly fall apart. You're going to see Stephon Diggs' true colors in terms of him getting frustrated and wanting to quit. I think it's going to go bad before it, gets any better.
Yeah, and I will say the Patriots did a very good job in that game. Mac Jones looked good, right from clutch throws. He's a weird player because sometimes he has these moments where I'm like, he makes the plays you need, big timer. He makes big mistakes though. He has like a Jekyll and Hyde kind of, but I also think he's behind the eight ball. Their offensive creativity is very vanilla, honestly. It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean their offensive line has played bad too.
Yes.
And they actually played really well. They established a run game, which I was like, wait,
That
they can run the ball? Like that was huge. But again, Buffalo was really dinged up. Not having Milano,
that hurts a lot.
In free agency, like you saw.
Yeah, the Milano injury was huge. He's their guy. He's their sideline to sideline guy. They need him.
So, but yeah, no man, Bill Belichick, he still got it. Maybe he, maybe the game hasn't passed.
300 wins. Congratulations, Bill.
Sometimes it's how do you get the most out of these guys that are playing well and getting them to focus on fundamentals and doing, it takes 11 men. We'll get into that with the Packer game.
By the way, how good is that rookie corner he got though? That guy can play. That kid can play. Gonzalez, legend. Yep. He's really good. That was probably the best corner in the draft. I like Witherspoon too, but he is, that dude is playing hard. Okay, our next game, our annual referees again. Listen, I know they want to they got rid of the replay, and I'm not saying you need to bring it back, but these refs got to be more consistent. The end of that game was a mess. Browns against Colts at Colts. Browns won 39-38. You can see it on your screen. But okay, I'm gonna get that out the way, and then we're gonna talk about like analytically how the game went. Listen, I get PJ Walker's playing in this game. Okay, the way that ended, he literally just threw the ball up. The first one, I am all for the receivers. Tom knows that. That was a hold, but by the time he got held, the dude was getting nailed, and it was a fumble. He was not getting that throw off. Not on his best day. That's a bad call. And then the worst one, that dude had to be 8 feet tall to catch that ball that he threw out of bounds about 5 yards. It's not a penalty. You cannot do that. No, you're deciding games. It's a joke. Don't do that. Don't, especially a game like that. Because this is my issue with that. they were dominating that quarterback because it was a backup quarterback. You let him off the hook with some dumb throws. That's not. No, we're not doing that. They weren't even close. He was just throwing them up because he knew the game was over. PJ Walker, no disrespect to you. You're a professional football player. You've made big plays in your past. I remember the play in Carolina, one of the best throws I've ever seen to end a game to DJ Moore. They should have lost that game. That was crap. Okay, and now we'll get into analytics and everything we saw. Tom, go ahead. You
Yeah.
go.
No, I mean you got to talk about it, right? The NFL refs are a problem, and
It's
it's
bad.
because they're not
It's
full
bad.
time. Again, they're deciding games. They did some questionable calls at the end of the Green Bay game too that
Yep. Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
hurt Green Bay. Like these holding calls that like, bro, man, you are like that. Unless it's egregious at that point in the game, or it's been this
Yeah.
consistent thing you've warned a player about. At some point, man, like put the thing in your pocket and let him play. You did it in an NFC title game when you should have thrown the flag, and now it's like, no, we're going to decide games with penalties. Like, guys, just enough. Because to your point, the Colts, I got to say this about the Colts, man. I'm going to say this about the Browns. Number one, dude, offensively, like what they're able to do with what they have, like Kevin Stefanski, him and McVay have just done unbelievable
Yeah.
coaching jobs.
Oh
this
yeah. Yeah.
year.
Yeah. Dude.
Like,
That was a wild game, man. A lot of
yeah,
points.
but it also like the Colts defense, like linebackers, things like that, they're actually kind of good. So I
Oh,
was
dude,
really
that team
surprised
is
that, like,
tough.
they're just,
Oh.
yeah, they're just, they're getting torched, and like, allowing 36 points is kind of wild. But yeah, like at some point, I got to say, like, the Colts, I mean, they're rebuilding for sure. They have a lot more talent though than people I think realize, and that's what's. I mean, I got to give them credit, even with like the Richardson pick, like. It's super interesting. I think they've developed a lot of good talent. They got a head coach in there that understands how to, leverage that talent.
Can
And,
we
again, Stefanski, dude, that was awesome, dude. Myles Garrett, man, that
monster
guy is
Hall of
just
Fame?
playing out
Put
of
him
his mind.
put him in the hall.
Like he reminds me of like Reggie White right now.
Yes.
Like Joe.
Think about how big he is. He's an old school D lineman too, because he's a big dude too. Dude jumped. Dude's like 280 and jumped over like a whole lineman and blocked that kick. Because remember, everybody, the rule is if you touch one of them with your foot or anything, it's a flag. So he has to clear him, or that's a 5-yard penalty, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He
I believe so, yeah.
cleared that man, and that kicker was like, there ain't no way I can kick it that high. That's a tall man. He blocked that ball so bad. Oh man,
Dude,
he is beautiful.
dude,
He is a tough. What I love about him too. I know we had that incident like 3 years ago, but who cares about Mason Rudolph anyway? They that man is humble. He just plays, and when he's done, I love how he's just like, hey buddy, how's it going? He is a football player. I want to win. I'm gonna play hard, and then when we're done, the game's over. It's all good now.
Yeah. Well, I will say that Mason Rudolph thing, not to bring up the past, I'm going to guarantee you Mason Rudolph probably said something he shouldn't because he's an idiot. Kind of like Mac Jones, doing weird things.
Kicking people in their junk, yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, there are dirty people. Like
Oh
that in
yeah,
that
oh
game,
yeah.
and I guarantee you Mason Rudolph was
I always
saying
said
some things you shouldn't be saying.
I always said he probably said what he said because when have we ever seen Myles Garrett? He's a very mild-mannered dude. You have to say something crazy that's the only time I've ever seen that man go nuts. He was just like,
Yeah,
what?
no, and I guarantee you he deserved it. I wish, honestly, Mason Rudolph would have got his face broken in because some of that stuff he's probably saying is just completely out of line.
Yeah, you
So,
can't be saying stuff like that,
but,
man.
Yeah, Myles Garrett, man, is fun to watch right now. The
Heck of a-
Browns defense in general,
Really
man,
good.
they're really fun. Like, they got Zadarius Smith, who I've always loved. I loved him as a Packer. I was really disappointed when they couldn't retain him.
Well, to go to the
Dude, that
culture
guy-
thing you talk about, Tom, think about the AFC North. That's what they are. Look at all the defenses, man. They're all really good. It's just
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to the Pittsburgh game shortly. Like, you'll see, like, I mean, dude, that defense, the biggest play is, TJ
Well,
Watt
again.
getting a pick.
By the way,
Totally
we'll get
changed
into
the
the refs on that one. The only thing I'll say about that one, though, everybody getting mad about that call, they still would have had to score. So I don't know if they would have.
Yeah.
But still, really bad call. Okay, end of the game. Juju Brents,
No,
by the
but,
way,
yeah.
second best corner in the draft. He's been really good. I like him. He's probably my favorite. I like the physicality he brings. Love Juju Brents. Big time player. Anyway, next
yeah.
game, Steelers at the Rams, 24-17. Steelers defense look good. Kenny Pickett's making clutch throws. That's what I've been seeing. Very nice. I will say that spot was awful. He did not get that. I don't care. That is a really bad. But again, this one's not as bad as the last ones we were talking about. Because here's the thing: you still had to go down the field on the Steelers, and I don't know if they could have, because that defense is really good. T.J. Watt, like Tom said, listen, did he punch Zay Flowers in the face? Should have been a flag. Wouldn't have mattered if he caught the ball. So I don't care about that one. That's his thing too. He punches. Just be ready. He's gonna punch and try to get that ball out, guys. Just be ready. You might get hit in the face. It's okay. but TJ's amazing. You know, I mean, don't he have already like 2 defensive player of the year? I mean, hey, I ain't a hater either.
I mean,
Steelers,
this shows you. I mean, to this day, as a Packer fan, I will never forgive that organization for saying we're going to trade down and not take him.
Yeah. And
go take into the early second round and take Kevin King. Like,
Kevin King.
I know
wow,
it was
that's
kind of the end of Ted Thompson's regime. He was dealing with a lot of medical issues, and I think he just, he lost a step, and it just, man, dude, like that guy is like, you could argue better than what Clay Matthews was, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
And like just
Clay was a big timer.
Like, it is what it is, man. Dude, he's unbelievable. That defense is always night and day different when he's in there.
Yeah.
He's a playmaker, and you're right. Like, they ran a little old school football too. They kind of established the run. I think you're starting to see with like the Rams right now. Their depth is what's killing them right now. They're a young team, but you got to get dude, Sean McVay. That team is competing.
All right, thank you. You beat me to it. Go ahead.
Dude. Yeah, no, it's fun to watch the Rams. Like, if I'm a Rams fan, like, you got the guy at the helm.
Yep.
You got to keep him motivated and wanting him to stay as your head coach.
Not only that, the Rams, we gotta give them credit too. Their scouting department too. Puanuka, man. Listen, I don't know who does scouting for wide receivers, but that man gets open and he catches the ball. I mean, he's good. He's a good player. It's tremendous.
Dude, he's on. Well, not him and like
Cooper Kupp together, yeah. It's impressive.
Super Bowl, right? To get these like big name players, they did it. They showed, hey, if you can actually evaluate talent in the draft in the later rounds, you're fine.
Yeah.
And that's what they did.
Yep.
Like, they just unbelievable, man. It's pretty cool. So, like, I actually enjoy what their coaching and their team does. It's fun.
Typical Steelers too. They're going to be around the whole year. Mike Tomlin's great coach. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's why I love it, man. I love I love the rivalry. Steelers. I hate you, but I love you. Okay, you know what I mean. That's best. Oh, I can't wait to watch it. I think the next one's on. Is it on Christmas? I don't remember. It's one of these games. It's going to be wild. It's going to be awesome. The towels will be out. We'll see how it goes for the Ravens. Catch the ball, guys. All right, next game we're gonna have the Cardinals at the Seahawks. Seahawks won 20-10. What do you think, Tom? Go ahead.
Like, I mean, good Seahawks win, I guess. I don't know. Like, I mean, Seattle, I think you're starting to see, like, eventually their Geno Smith's kind of a bridge guy. So,
like you said, though, really.
I don't know what to say about that game because I really didn't watch a ton of it.
Yeah.
Just, Seattle again, like they're establishing the run. Like Kenneth Walker's, I think, leading the NFL in rushing.
He's a very good running back. Yeah.
Their defense is really good. You don't hear a lot about them either, which is surprising for how they're playing. So.
Well, I think
Seattle's dude. They're a team like they're a wild card team. They're not a contender, but they could get hot and win a game or two in the playoffs.
I think you nailed it. Their defense is not the way they drafted too has been tremendous. That defense, they really did a good job drafting players, signing players, they've done developing. Pete Carroll doesn't get enough credit for that. I know he's not the defensive coordinator, obviously, but he really knows how to evaluate their staff, whoever it is. They know how to evaluate talent in the later rounds on defense, especially. I mean, everyone remembers the draft where they got like the worst grade, but then they got Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Bobby Wagner. Remember, they got like a D- from everybody. Oh, it's terrible. Reaches. And it's like all of them were good. That's still the funniest thing ever. It shows you, like, that's why, look, I don't think me and Tom are going to do draft grades because it's like, you don't know. Some guys have that dog in them and some don't. Because some guys do have the talent. They're like, hey, I got my money. I did what I wanted to make the pros. I'm good. And some guys are like, hey, I'll show you what I am. You know, it is what it is. It's just how it works. And the Cardinals, their coach, what a great hire. I think they're gonna give them a year. I love how they're. You don't hear anything like bad with them either. They realize we're banged up. Okay, we knew this coming in, but we're gonna play hard, and they do. They play tough. That team, I don't think they've been blown out yet. They play everyone hard, and if you ain't ready, like you said, you'll be the Cowboys. If you ain't ready, you gonna lose. So you better show up, because they're gonna kick you in the teeth. They're not afraid.
You know what, too? I gotta say, I do like their jerseys, actually. The Cardinals
They're
jerseys.
pretty nice. I like how they went classic. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like the NFL's going back to like some of this classic look, and I actually really appreciate it. It's a new, refreshing look on a very old style.
Yeah,
That it's fun, man. But
I love it. Okay, Tom. I am gonna let Tom go. The next game is the Packers at the Broncos. The Broncos won 19-17. You can see it on your screen. Tom, the floor is yours, my friend.
yeah, I mean, let's start with oh boy, Green Bay right now is just struggling with identity. They're a very, very young team. I think where I've gotten with them is, like, as Packer fans, you had to expect this. That's one thing I gotta say up front. Like, this team was not a playoff contender team. I think we're got a little bit too excited the first 2 weeks because you saw these flashes of, oh wow, this is what this youth could do. And now you're in the middle of the season where, hey, these guys are getting tired. They're making mental mistakes all
Yeah.
over the place. And it's not actually Jordan Love. Like, when you watch the tape, Jordan Love's staying on, throughout the game, he's doing what he's supposed to do. The turnovers got to stop. At the end of the game, he's got to understand you don't need these massive chunk plays. Like, just check it down sometimes, right?
Yep.
And that's growth. Aaron Rodgers did that his first season, too, as a starter. There's a lot of game-winning drives. He tried to make a play, and, that's a very young quarterback.
I agree.
But, like, you see, like, when Aaron Jones is in there, all of a sudden, like, their run game explosiveness is just night and day different, right? A.J. Dillon's just a bruiser. And I got to give A.J. Dillon this. He's improved. He's gotten a lot better. He's not an every down running back that you can use, right?
Yep.
But where they've really struggled is, man, that offensive line, I mean, I'm calling it out right now. You still have Ellington Jenkins. John Runyon Jr. has actually been a very solid starter. They're playing terrible. And I can't imagine it's scheme all the time. At some point, man, you got it, like, again, I saw multiple blocks where, like, hey, they're engaged with someone, and all of a sudden they just stop. And, the guy makes the tackle for no gain instead of, hey, just keep driving your feet. And I get it. It's a hard game, man. I don't want to, I played it. I get it. But, like, dude, that was supposed to be the strength of this team, and that is what's killing them at this point because they're playing below average. And you're not going to be able to support a young quarterback. I mean, but it's everybody making mistakes on that offense, bro. I mean, I could complain till the moon comes home, and what's killing them is they don't have the cap space, and they're not willing to, at this point, go get a couple veterans off the street to help these young guys. The tight end room and the wide receiver room, especially right now. They need a veteran to just help guide these guys, but also, like, hold them accountable. But I also blame the coaching staff, man. Like, at some point, I know this is what you got, but people need to get reps taken away. Like, hey, if you're not going to show up and do what you're supposed to do, and two people are going to run the same route in the same spot, you're not going on the field.
True.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you lose reps in the – I don't care how good you are. If you can't do that, I'll tell you this right now. Tyreek Hill doesn't do that, and he don't watch film. He at least knows where the heck he's supposed to go. So, I'll give Denver this. They're kind of ascending. Their defense has played a lot better.
Yeah.
People I don't think I think Green Bay kind of got caught in a buzzsaw. It's hard to play at Denver.
Always.
Their defense has gotten a lot better. And you know what Russell Wilson did?
What?
He didn't turn the ball over.
Yep.
He made key throws.
Yep.
He used his legs. And they just did enough.
No, you're right.
I will give you got to give Denver a little bit of credit. Like, Sean Payton's kind of getting that thing. Again, it's at least watchable. So
It's at least
Like, at this point, Packer fans, stop it with Jordan Love. We got to evaluate him for a full year. I don't know if he's the guy. There's a few things that you go, oh boy. But I honestly not even sure you can evaluate him after a full year with the way these guys are playing on offense. At some point, I'm hoping against the Vikings, Chach, just get 3 points on the board the first drive.
Yep.
Like, show me something. You cannot be this awful game in and
Out
game
the
out
gate.
in the first half.
Yeah.
It's been 2 years of it. And at some point, it's like, guys.
That's coaching, it is.
And I think that's actually the big evaluation piece this year is, hey, you got to develop people. We're going to, I think Matt LaFleur's play calling is great, but that's actually not your role. You need to be holding these guys accountable and getting the most out of them and figuring out, well, how do I get them? And that doesn't mean yelling and screaming. Sometimes that just means, like I said, just take reps away. Say, no, man, I don't trust you. Until I can trust you,
Yep.
You're not playing as much.
No.
And yeah, that's going to be painful. But at this point, clearly, like, you need to establish the culture of we're doing things right in the right way.
Yep.
If you do not want to, and also don't be afraid to go sign a couple street free agents that are veterans. To say, hey, we'll make it clear as day.
Listen. The Ravens signed 2 guys, one in the offseason and one a couple weeks ago, and they have made a huge difference in their vets. Jadeveon Clowney's been impressive the whole year, and Kyle Van Noy just popped off the couch getting sacks and tipping passes. And guess what? Tom knows this. Everybody knows this more than anybody. Van Noy's just a winner. He's a winner. That was a great signing because, like you said, that shows the young guys. Maybe Oweh's going to be like, Odafi's going to be like, hey, he's telling them like, hey, bro, you gotta go. You know what I mean? It's a wake up call for some guys. Sometimes it makes you step up because it's like, oh, this, like you said, leadership. Hey, man, you ain't doing this right. You're sloppy with your footwork. Your hands, you're not using your hands enough. It helps.
Like Green Bay, you see it like their offense can play. Like they all of a sudden, it's like they got to get punched in the mouth and yelled at. And you got to grow beyond that, right? You can't look like a deer in the headlights of here we go again, right?
Yeah.
You got to be like, hey, let's go, guys. We can't do this, and we know it. It doesn't mean press. It means, hey, you got to focus on the details. Like, I would love to see Jordan Love go up to when Reed and Musgrave ran into each other, come on the sideline, and let them hear it. Be like, guys, I can't do this way. Because that was a first down. That was probably like a 20-yard gain. We can't throw it in the middle of the field because we have guys that don't know what they're doing. At some point, like I said, I get you got to play the youth, but you also got to hold them accountable, and they can't do it because you can't evaluate Jordan Love at all.
Yeah. Also,
you can't evaluate any of these guys to say, where are we going? But again, it starts with 2 key things. Number one, the offensive line has got to play better, man. At some point, and this is also another positional thing that's driving me nuts. You gave Josh Nijman. You gave this guy, or Yosh Nijman, you gave him a second-round tender, and he's played very, very well in his career for where he was picked. He was an undrafted rookie free agent out of Virginia. He blocked the blind side of Aaron Rodgers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So please don't tell me you don't trust him. He's sitting on the bench. Rasheed Walker won the job in training camp. I think he's a phenomenal talent. He's just not consistent right now.
Okay.
Why are you not playing a guy that you can help evaluate?
True.
Just it makes no sense. At some point, I don't care if you switch reps every few series, but at some point get consistency. It just doesn't make any sense. Or move him to right tackle, put Zach Tom at center, because Josh Myers has played like absolute. He's been a myth player since he's been drafted, right? Let's put the best 5 guys out there. I truly don't believe they're out there right now, and it's just infuriating. And that is what I think, that is coaching, and that is personnel decisions. So, it's not, honestly at this point, it's not a Brian Gutekunst issue. This is, hey, you need to get the most out of the players you got, and that coaching staff, I think Matt LaFleur is killing himself by hiring his buddies and hiring internally instead of getting guys that can just do it. So
Gotcha.
I could go on and on, Josh, but we got to keep moving on.
Okay, I will. Only thing I echo your sentiment on the Broncos. I think they're playing a lot better, and defensively they're starting to ramp up like they were last year. They can get that defense to where it was, not even where it was, like maybe halfway there, because their offense is playing a lot better. Russell Wilson has been solid. He has not been bad this year. And they got a little bit of running game because Dante's back. So yeah,
Yeah.
but not my bad, Dante Williams. He's back and he's been really Javon. He's been really good. He's starting to really ramp up. The injuries starting to you know how it is. It was kind of like with Brees Hall in the beginning. He's feeling really good now. He's rolling. Um, Packers too, like you said, man. I do think the Jordan Love thing's a little crazy because you're not giving him the cushion like you gave Aaron Rodgers and other people. You just want to throw him to the wolves and be like, see, it was stupid trade. Should have kept him. It's like, no, stop. Let's give him time. Maybe he's not the guy, like Tom said, but to do that after 6 games is wild. Like, you don't know. And like you said, that's a young team all around him. You're acting like he has, like, if he had a bunch of vets and was missing throws, yeah. But when he's hit, by the way, in the one in the end zone, I don't want to hear people say that ball was behind him. You catch that ball. The one that went to the other dude and he caught it, dude, he dropped that. That was right. He threw it behind him so he get nailed on a slant. Okay?
And everyone keeps calling it luck. Love did really good job. That guy was gonna tip that or pick it. He
Yes.
pumped it, held it, got a lane to throw it. Sometimes you need luck in the NFL. So the Dobbs one, I think there's just some throws you wish Love would put a little more oomph on and gas. He seems to be a little bit hesitant, but anyway, dude, we could go on and on, man. I could do like 10 podcasts of just what's going wrong. Like I said, at some point, man, you have to start off hot. You have to get points in the first half. If they would have kicked a field goal at the end of the half and made that instead of, hey, you missed it, and then your defense, crapped down its leg.
One day we'll do
another field goal. It went to a 6-point swing that cost you the game.
Around week 10, me and you maybe we'll do a assessment of our teams. Like me and you will go on to Ravens and Packers and have a little assessment for everybody. We'll do like a whole thing for that, like an hour long, like 30-minute long thing on both of them. Just have fun with that. We'll do that so we can really vent and like just really break down our teams because we do try. Me and Tom do try to watch every game or some highlights from it or a majority of it, the parts that matter. But our teams, we of course, like any fan, we really get into like the nitty gritty with it, every play. So we can give you like all the little details with them more than anything. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I try to watch most of them, but we got lives. It's hard sometimes, like anybody, okay? But we try. Believe me, we try. Next game is the Chargers at the Chiefs. Chiefs rolling along, 131-17. Team Taylor Swift kicking butt. I am gonna say this cautionary for the Chiefs, and because I don't want to hear your fans, and you guys might win the whole thing, and God knows you can. I hope you don't get mad if you're losing a game and they do that dance them two did, because that's what they're gonna do. These players are petty. They're gonna do that. I don't want to hear your mouths. You put it out there. I'm just saying. But they look good. Hey, they're chugging along. Typical Andy Reid just wins games. Great at doing it. Pat's Pat. I mean, what are we talking about? Kels is Kels. I'm gonna call him Kels, and his name's Kelsey. It looks like that. I took English courses, but listen, don't look like that. Writer. Okay. Chargers. Tom, I think you said it. Their coach is that Staley needs to go, bro. They don't. They have like this thing where they can't win a close game. They just at the end they lose. That it's a thing. I don't get it. It's if you watch them and like you said, the talent on that team, they don't play as talented as they are. Like I don't get it. They're a very weird team. I don't know. It's like their defensive scheme. They play off and they don't the corners and they're not aggressive. It's a weird team, man. It really is. Chiefs, hats off to you. You're always good. I mean, yet again, got to beat the big boy. They the big dog. Let them eat. Tom?
Yeah, I mean, no, that's what happens when you have, Kelsey and Mahomes. The Chiefs' defense is really good.
I was going to say their defense is underrated.
That is definitely, that's been built up well. I mean, yeah, I'll talk more of the Chargers, man. It's just, that roster is just completely wasted at this point, and you have to wonder if ownership's ready to just say, no, I would blow it up right now and say, no, we're done. Like, you got to establish, again, a winning culture, man. And I think Herbert can. Like, dude, see, like, Herbert's pressing, and I don't understand why he's pressing. You don't have Williams. Again, like, dude, paper cut that team. Paper cut the Chiefs,
Well, you have
man.
Keenan Allen, too. You're fine. He's amazing. He gets open. He catches the ball. Like, get him the ball.
they have a ton of talent, man. You have a
Yeah.
really good tight end.
Running back.
You know, Palmer's a really good receiver.
Eckler.
Like, you know, it's like they want these chunk plays and to be this team that just completely stretches the field and then establishes the run. Versus like, hey, like, dude, dink and dunk it, man.
Yeah.
Dude, eat the clock. Like, that's how you beat the Chiefs. And I just don't, you know, they're just like, it's like they're fishing for answers, but they're not good, man. That's all I can say.
No,
Like,
you're right.
That's leadership, and it's not good. So, you know, the Chiefs, yeah, I mean, they're gonna be rolling. They're gonna be tough. But the thing is, I think that's a team you can actually beat this year.
Oh yeah.
In the playoffs.
I agree. That's why I made that caveat. Listen. Don't lose. Don't lose. Cause I'm telling you, all this like pub people. I'm telling you, they ain't saying it, but they don't like it. And like, Team Taylor Swift. Trust me, they got motivation. Okay.
Yeah.
Not that they weren't motivated before. Obviously, you're world champs. You know, you're big dogs. They want you. But yeah, NFL too. I was talking to someone about this. I don't have a problem with it. I get why you guys are doing it, but dear God, can I watch the game? I don't need to see every 5-yard catch that man makes. I don't need to see how she reacts. I don't care. He's gonna be in one of her songs in 5 months. It's fine. I'm good. Okay, Taylor Swift's mid. We're done. Next game, Dolphins at the Eagles. Eagles won 31-17. I watched this whole game. The refs did miss that face mask call. It was bad. It was awful. Okay, but this is my pet peeve with stuff like that, and I think they should have called it. You got to call that because that was a face mask. But I don't like when you call PI when they like hold. Okay, when the throws are bad like that, because Tua underthrew him. Okay, now the face mask is legit. That should have been called. But I'm saying a lot of times they call a flag when the ball's poorly thrown and the receiver goes back and the dude runs into him. Now, granted, you should turn around for the ball. I don't know what some of these corners are doing. I know it's the technique they're call it, but it's sometimes that's just gripes with me because it's like you're rewarding a bad throw, and I'm like, it's not, whatever. But good game. I want everyone to. Tyreek Hill's a beast, by the way. The man beat a double team. That's how fast he is. It's like, I think he's one of those guys. You can watch him on film. When you get on that field, it's a whole different animal. You're like, oh my God. But also Miami, be cautionary with them. They were missing Ramsey, who's going to, regardless of what you think of Jalen Ramsey, he is at least a really good corner, okay? And then Xavier Howard, who is a turnover machine. We will see how they look when he comes back. And I will say too, their team though, like Tom said, they are kind of like a finesse speed team, and there is a way to beat them. You can punch them in the mouth. You can do that, and it's kind of hard for them. As for the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, like Tom said, love it. He knows what he's good at. He knows what he's got a little trouble with. He plays to his strengths, and I gotta say, you can say what you want about the man's arm. That's an accurate passer. He makes some accurate throws, and they're on the money, and he is a gamer. He came right back from that game last week where he had a little bit of trouble, didn't get discouraged, came out, played a really good game, and A.J. Brown's a beast. He's a dog. Man's a beast. That is an impressive stat. 125 yards in, 7 games in a row? 6? That's crazy.
Yeah, man, I mean, exactly. So,
and Kevin Byard, what a good trade that was. He is a ball hawk. They needed help in that secondary. That was a good trade. For what they traded for?
The Eagles, again, I think people have figured them out a little bit offensively. I don't think they run the ball
except for the tush push.
Last year.
Tush push.
But, yeah, I mean, again, it comes to the point of I'm not sure Miami really played anybody.
Yeah.
If you really think about it early on, the two teams they lost to are, perennial playoff contenders at this point. So you kind of go, Miami's searching for that big win, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where, again, they got to learn how to win those big games. I think they're close. They just, again, I think they got to do a few things different. It can't be – it seems like they want to just be explosive and flashy, too.
Yep.
And it's like you got to establish the run and be tough.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just don't think – their defense is built kind of like Green Bay. they want to play with that 70-20 lead. That defense is going to be all. They have like Christian Wilkins
Speed.
is a beast. They got some pieces, but
Oh, dude, I love him. Oh, big boys. I love the big boy, like the Ravens guy, Matabuke. Oh, I love the big guys that just smash people. It's so great.
Yeah, I'll say Philly. I mean, they're definitely the class of the NFC so far. Like
Speaking of D line, Philly's D line's pretty impressive. Dude. I will say, I know you watched the game, right?
Yeah.
Hassan Reddick was one of the best. Like, well, who's the one that always ranks people? PFF. You ain't gonna tell me you watched that game and didn't give that man a good grade. He was flying off that goddamn ball. That was crazy. I was like, man, he is manhandling people tonight. He was in a mood.
Well, it's just like the NFC title game, man. He did the same thing. He's one of those players that, like, he's really just a pass rush guy, but dude, you can scheme some crazy ways. And think they got Nolan Smith and the guy that's just unbelievable is what's his face, Jalen Carter, man.
Yeah,
he had a lot of off the field issues, but just teaming up with that whole defensive line and understanding Fletcher Cox is, and Brandon Graham are kind of transitioning to the latter part of their
it goes
career.
back to what you said. You have veteran leadership.
Plan, it's amazing, man.
Well, that's veteran leadership too. I'm sure Fletcher Cox is teaching him and Davis a lot. Like, hey guys, this is how you do it. Come in early in the morning, work out, you watch film. It's stuff like that. Like you said, veteran leadership's important.
That and the details, man.
Yep. Absolutely. And I think the Eagles are just gonna, like the Chiefs, same thing. Going to be there. Going to have to beat them. They're kind of like in the same spot right now. They're just winning, and it's like, yeah, like you said, teams kind of figured them out too, both of them. You kind of got a blueprint on how to beat them, but it's like you still got to beat them. And when it comes to, this is what the problem is when it comes down to the end of the games against both of these teams, are you going to make the plays to beat them? Because that's what's going to happen. You're not going to blow them out. You're going to have to make the plays at the end. And that's where I will say, like in the Chiefs case, that's what the Bengals did a couple years ago. They made the plays at the end of that game to get to that Super Bowl. You're going to have to do that. You're not blowing them out. The chances of you blowing either one of these teams out in a title game are very slim. You're going to have to make the plays at the end to win the game. That's it. Like Tom said with the Chiefs, keep it close and win the game at the end. That's how you're going to have to beat them. They're not going to give you the game. You're going to have to beat them. And the refs definitely ain't going to give you a game. That's the bell cow, baby. You better. And I'm not even making fun of them. They're the champs. They deserve it. Give them the calls. That's Mahomes, baby. You got it. That's your fault. Don't make the game come down to that. It's on you. Win the game. Win the game. That's it. I ain't got no sympathy for you. I'm a Ravens fan. We won't have to beat them, probably, if we won't get there. And if they let that game get to that, I ain't going to be mad at them. I'm like, hey, you let the game be close. That's what you get. All right, last game. We got that. And this one's pretty good one to talk about, too. And me and you had no horse in this race. And I watched this game, so I know. 49ers at the Vikings. Surprisingly, the Vikings won 22-17. Tom, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, number one, this shows you what it's, having a veteran quarterback. Also, your offensive line starting to play a lot better. I think Kevin Stefanski just schemes things really well, and especially against that 49er defense, right? I mean, it's really interesting. You had one. If you look at the still images of the pick by Ward versus the touchdown, you would argue those should actually be flipped.
Yeah.
But somehow, that's kind of the NFL. It's wacky sometimes, but dude, what's really interesting right now? I mean, Green Bay better. Brian Flores, his defensive approach this year is basically he blitzes all the time. He has 5 down people, which is basically blitzing. And it's wild. It's working to a point.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can exploit it. What's really interesting is Brock Purdy in this game.
Yeah.
You start to see, at the end of the game, he might have been concussed, so sure. But, he loves to throw this deep in. They run this play a lot.
Yep.
To Ayuk. You had a safety that knew where to sit and attack it.
Bynum, yeah. He was all over it. You
kind of saw, hey, when you can't throw a screen to Christian McCaffrey and all these little things that make Brock Purdy's stats go through the roof, he is kind of meh.
Yeah.
He's just in a weird spot right now. And, again, the GOAT will fight. Tom Brady, he fought through it. Purdy's going to have to do the same thing. But, again, we'll say this. Purdy was a 7th-round pick. So, You know,
Yeah.
this kind of comes back to, I think Kyle Shanahan and their coaching staff do a great job of getting the most out of players. I do think they made the right move with going with Purdy, and
Yeah.
they said, "Hey, sorry, Trey Lance." I give them a lot of credit for just moving on and
Going
giving
for it, yeah.
Trey Lance an opportunity, but also saying we're going to go with Purdy and Darnold.
Yep.
I do think they are going to have problems down the road. That's just, you know, I think they can scheme a lot of stuff, but at some point, I'm just not sure Purdy can make all those plays that you're thinking. And teams are going to adjust, man. I mean, that's the Kyle Shanahan offense, though. He has the same formation. He runs 1,000 plays out of them. But if you think about it, you can only run so many based on a formation where the ball is and all that stuff. So, dude, you got to give the Vikings a lot of credit, man. They fought through starting off really slow this season, and they're kind of starting to ascend. And, you know, dude, Green Bay's got their hands full. 1 o'clock on Sunday. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I think
you better be ready to buckle your chin strap. It's a division rivalry. You better be on.
Oh, dude, they are always close.
Crossing your T's on every play, man, because you know, just because they don't have Justin Jefferson, that, you know, you still Kirk Cousins is notorious.
Whoa, Mario Addison can play.
This is not last year when Green Bay shut down Jefferson and curve stomped that team. This is a way
Addison's very good. Addison's very good. He's tough too. He makes plays, man. Did you see him? Man was like, you ain't getting no pick today.
He's made plays all year.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, like, I'm just saying what I foresee Green Bay doing against them is this is going to be the game where all of a sudden Mario Addison looks like, hey, this guy's the real deal. Because Green Bay's defense still somehow gives up 6 yards a carry. And, you know, just amazing how that a lot of that is just lining up and the way, you know, our defensive coordinator decides to play these teams. But again, maybe he'll actually, again, a disciple of the Shanahan McVay tree. Maybe somehow these guys have practiced against each other enough that Joe Barry can come up with a game plan. Who knows? But, you know, like I said, you got to give the Vikings credit that they're tough and they keep sticking around and fighting. So, you know, again, they win. They're 4-4. They're right back in the thick of all
3-4. 3-4.
Well, they're 3-4 right now. I'm talking more next week. If
they
win, they're back in the thick.
Yeah. True.
You know, and if you're Green Bay, 2-5, man, you got to start really.
Yeah.
You got to start figuring out, hey, how do we evaluate? Honestly, like, you know, you're going to be a 500 team at best, maybe, but you're in a really tough part of your schedule.
Yeah.
Watch it go the opposite way, because the NFL doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. Never. It never does.
That's all I got on that game, man.
Okay, so I'm gonna be quick because Tom covered it pretty well. I love the fight in the Vikings. I like he said, the thing I like about the Vikings is for the past like 5 years they've been like a cover 2 kind of like vanilla defense. I love Brian Flores with the blitzing and the moving people around, playing some robber, got the safety in the middle, cut like you said, cutting off the in route. He knew what he was doing. He cut underneath it. It was very smart. It's a little different. Like you said, yes, I think you can exploit it, but I like that it's unpredictable. They've always been like the cover 2 shell team. Like, oh yeah, we know what you're doing. It's boring. We can figure this out. And then on offense, I love how Mario Addison's playing. Very good. The receiver. He's playing very. That's his name, right? Addison? Yeah, very good. Anyway, the 49ers, as for them, love the coaching job Shanahan's doing, as always. But it shows you, like Tom said, and injuries happen. I don't want to hear none of this crap. People get hurt. It's fine. Fred Warner's a beast, though. But injuries happen. And the thing is, I can't, like you said, Brock Purdy's kind of like showing you he's a little bit of 7th rounders in there, man. He has trouble sometimes because that one pick at the end, that was just a bad throw. He had the guy and he overthrew him. I don't know what happened there. It's hard sometimes.
I'm gonna say this too, though. Kyle Shanahan makes it easy to throw people wide open.
True.
Elite quarterbacks hit players and give wide receivers chances and throw them open.
Yeah.
And people need to stop. I mean, you know, again, like that's kind of what.
Oh no, you're right. That's why stats are like overblown. You have to watch the games to know what's going on because sometimes there's people dropping passes. There's throws where it's like my God, how'd he make that throw? And you're like, what the heck? Or like you said, he'll throw him, or he'll like throw the ball before the guy's out of his break right on that corner like that. I think Lamar had a throw to Zay Flowers last week where he was not even out of his cut and hit him right on the sideline. It was beautiful. It's like stuff like that where you're like, man, like Mahomes always does it. It's just like, it looks like he throws it with such touch too, where the guy like catches it like it's nothing. It's beautiful. It's like there's certain guys, they just got it, man. And it's like I'm not saying Brock can't be that, but I think it's like the Jordan Love thing where you got to give them some leeway. People just want to. We have like this thing in nowadays because the shock factor gets views or whatever. We got to go crazy like on what we think about somebody. It's got to be one week he's the MVP, and then the next week he's awful. No, Brock Purdy's still learning. I think the Tom Brady analogy is perfect. He's on a team that's very good. Young Tom Brady analogy. But will he take that step? See, Tom Brady don't get enough credit because, yes, you could say his team was more defensive in the beginning, but the dude incrementally got better to the point where he was the main guy. He was the thing that made the team great, okay? And he was always a team player. That's what made him win all those championships. He wasn't the most talented player ever. You have a ceiling when you're that late of a draft pick for a reason. Tom Brady, like Brock Purdy, is not the greatest athlete ever, okay? But he just knew how to play football and got better, okay? Is Brock Purdy going to do the same thing? We'll see. That's the difference. Are you going to make the improvements? Are you going to become the MVP after starting off as like the kind of game manager guy? That's my thing. Let's not throw him to the curb already. The guy's having a little bit of trouble. That's fine. That happens. Any quarterback has trouble in adverse situations where their team's not 100% because we lose a lot of times the fact that it is a team game and you can be the greatest player in the world. Does anyone remember what happened to Pat Mahomes when he played in the Super Bowl against Tampa Bay? Because I know we like to forget about it because the Golden Child had a rough day, okay? He had no line. How did he look in that game? Just saying. It happens. And believe me, think no less of that man. As the number one quarterback, he is the man. Okay? But it happens. It's a team game. If you ain't got all your dogs, it's hard to win, bro. It is. You feel like you're all alone on that island, just taking, especially a quarterback, because you got the big boys coming at you, and you could be tough as nails. It hurts, man. It hurts getting hit when you're standing still and some 280-pound man is smacking you in the back. Okay? I mean, what do you think, Tom?
Yep.
Tom had to block these people. I know he knows what I'm talking about. That is not fun. But that is our thoughts on week 7. Likes are as always appreciated. Subscribe for more of our content. And as always, stay awesome, my friends. This is In Our Humble Opinion. Tom, say goodbye.
See you. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.